worth. Hello and welcome to round 9 here at Grand Prix Dallas Fort Worth. Maria Bartholdi here in the booth, joined by Kenji Igashira. Vikram Kuva at 8-0 versus Stephen Pierce, also at 8-0. Undefeated players battling it out. Only one will remain undefeated after the dust settles. And we are off, both players kicking things off here with Forests, and there is a Llanowar Scout for Vikram.
Not exactly the card I would expect out of an 8-0 deck, but again, it does serve some early use. You know, if your opponent's a little bit too aggressive, if they have a lot of 2-drops, this can kind of stymie the bleeding. But
there is a divination, and I believe he drew a Karn off of it. Excellent. There's one of the big impact cards you're talking about, Kenji. All right, same colors for both players here. Slimefoot hits the table for Stephen Pierce, and Vikram is going to use that Llanowar Scout to add another land to the battlefield. And there is Karn. Hits the table.
Yeah, Karn just warps the game immediately. It's a must deal with threat. Gives you just way too much card advantage.
Wow, 4 colors here for Vikram.
And I like this play from Stephen, giving Vikram the Blessed Light as opposed to the land. You'll notice Vikram didn't actually play a land as well, so now he's going to have to invest in Karn's minus ability to get back that Plains. Also, that's 4 colors, right?
Yes.
Off of Vikram there.
Yeah. Slimefoot here attacking in. Icy Manipulator is a follow-up play here. Fantastic card. We've seen a lot of it this weekend, and as well we should have. Excellent removal. I'm putting that in quotes, but it essentially is. Vikram is going to be able to add that Plains back to his hand and plays it.
Yeah, knowing that Pierce didn't really add any pressure to the board, Vikram's pretty safe to just get the Plains from underneath Karn's silver.
All right, we've got a Mammoth Spider here hitting the table for Vikram. Stephen Pierce, there you get a look at him from Plano, Texas. Started playing during Return to Ravnica, same as me. He's an electrical engineer, and he loves brewing, loves playing combo, and in his words, total jank.
Total jank. I like it.
Grow from the Ashes here is going to be kicked. He'll be able to go find some lands. Ooh, I think I spotted a Muldrotha there in his deck.
No. Problem being here that even though Pierce is developing out his mana nicely and can still use the Manipulator to kind of stop some damage, it's just all about this Karn right now.
Eviscerate and Skittering Surveyor here revealed. One will be exiled under Karn with a silver counter on it. Ooh, I like it. Classy. And one into the hand. Vikram Kuva, Grand Prix Phoenix, top 8 this year. Is a software developer. Won some SCG Opens and has played on multiple Pro Tours. Karn just so powerful as a pure card advantage engine.
Seeing it played in a variety of formats, in Constructed as well.
Oh, really?
Yep.
What are you liking Constructed right now, Kenji?
Secrets. Secrets.
Ooh. Yeah, I suppose I can't ask you that.
Well, you can.
You've got a Pro Tour coming up.
I'll just tell you secrets, though. The pressure's all on Pierce, though. He needs to develop his board, and he knows that Vikram has at least a Blessed Light in hand. He can get the Eviscerate from underneath Karn the following turn if he really needs to. It's just way too problematic. He could have like a Cold Water Snapper into Arcane Flight. I mean,
yeah.
I'm thinking of outs from him as one creature is not going to be good enough. He's got to play multiple threats. Okay.
Ooh, there you go. Helm of the Host.
So the problem with this being that Vikram already has 2 known removal spells, one in hand and one with the silver counter on it. And so even though Pierce has a very powerful card in the form of the Helm, it's not going to be good enough.
Wow, this is actually this is an interesting battle. Karn versus Helm of the Host, essentially, is the game we're playing right here. There was a syncopate on that Deathboom Thallid.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't like saying this, but Pierce is like 5% to win in this current form. Yeah, I mean, Vikram can just deal with the Slimefoot if he wants to, say with the Light or the Eviscerate, and then just get in.
Yep, there's Blessed Light, takes down Slimefoot.
Oh, he has a Vicious Offering in his hand as well, so
oof.
Just plenty of removal spells, although I think he might have mistapped his Swamp there, but shouldn't really matter.
In comes the Spider, Mr. Skits, and the Llanowar Scout.
Yeah, the combination of card advantage of Karn and extra removal spells is just going to put him way over the top. You even see him putting out the Golem tokens now.
Yeah.
Oh, 4-color Tempest Djinn. I'm all about that.
That is bold.
So he's running 7 islands in his deck. Okay, I mean, this is one of those cards that you're not upset playing out on turn 6, 7 even.
Sure, so you don't really, you can wait.
It turn 6 or 7, it only costs 3 mana, and it'll be like a 3/4 flyer. That's a good rate. That probably lets you cast multiple spells in a turn.
I'm going to be really interested to find out what kind of fixing Kuva has in his deck.
No, you see the Skittering Surveyor.
We see the Skittering Surveyor. We've got the, Scout. That doesn't really count. Windgrace Acolyte here for Stephen Pierce. He's going to gain 3 life, Milth himself 3.
Yeah, but with the known Eviscerate, that's just not going to be good enough.
Another Llanowar Scout. Looks like you need to play Llanowar Scout if you want to be undefeated, Kenji.
I'm doing it totally wrong.
We've put the puzzle together. There is a Grow from the Ashes, which is a vital piece to this 4-color puzzle, no doubt.
Yeah, so maybe Vicious Offering takes care of the Windgrace Acolyte. That's certainly a card that you don't want with a Helm on it. I don't know if he wants to use an Eviscerate that quickly on, say, the Wayfinder, the Scout, but he definitely wants to get rid of the creatures that he can. I mean, he can push, what, a 2-turn clock here?
All right, so down goes the Windgrace Acolyte to Vicious Offering, and there's a Juggernaut.
So remember, the golems from Karn don't get enter as creatures with power and toughness equal to the number of artifacts you control that just stay that way. They continuously grow and shrink. So currently with 1, 2, 3, 4, they are all 4/4s.
I love it. Just a pile of great cards.
Yeah, and again, still with the Eviscerate in hand. Vikram knows that, sure, Pierce can put the Helm on the Scout, but what is that going to do? Nice, you have 2 1/3s.
Pierce here trying to do anything he can. That Helm of the Host is just like an almost unbeatable card, but Vikram Kuva able to do it here with the help of Karn, taking down Game 1 versus Stephen Pierce. Both players currently undefeated, battling to come back and draft tomorrow with a 9-0 record.
Yep, these slow, dirtily decks playing 3+ colors. If you just play a Karn on turn 4, that's often going to be good enough just because it's going to out-card advantage and eventually start making those creatures.
Who would win? One sad robot or one shiny helmet? Boy. All right, players here heading to their sideboards. But I got to say, both of them, the card quality, as you would expect, extremely high. Have you had a chance to play with Karn, Kenji?
Yep. Just as good as expected.
Everything in your hopes and dreams?
I mean, the thing is, the plus is going to get you card advantage, right? Even if you're revealing 2 lands and you're just getting lands. And Karn comes down pretty quickly and starts at a high enough loyalty that your opponent has to devote a lot of resources to try and kill it often. And by that time, they've either made some unfortunate attacks or you've drawn enough extra cards that it's just too hard to come back from.
Of course, Vikram going to be thinking about that Helm of the Host.
Yep.
Heading to the sideboard to see if there's anything that can help out with that potentially, although I'm going to make an assumption that he's running some kind of artifact removal in his main deck, as a lot of people are here this weekend playing something like Broken Bond, Divine Intervention.
He actually doesn't have any removal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
I think because he's playing so many colors, he doesn't have room necessarily for a card that might not always have an impact, even though there are plenty of good targets in this format.
Right.
He's opted just to go for fixing big creatures, powerful cards, and it seems to be working. Vikram only running 14 basics. He has 3 non-basics, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that'll do it.
2 Memorials and a Hinterland Harbor.
Those lands, by the way, the Memorials, so good.
Yeah, besides the red one, I think all
the
of
red
them are
one
pretty darn solid.
Can just get out of here, but paying 5 to draw 2, good deal. Making some soldiers, looking through your cards for some creatures.
Absolutely.
Reanimating something essentially, kind of, sort of, sending it back to your hand. A lot of the top players here at this tournament have fallen, actually, here in the later rounds. We've seen a number of pros get bounced out of the tournament. So it's kind of anybody's game heading into day 2 tomorrow. All right, here we go. Game 2, Vikram Kuva versus Stephen Pierce. Llanowar Elves had it the whole time. On turn 2.
Oh, I think I see that Muldrotha in his hand.
Ooh, excellent. Plenty of colors of mana for Vikram, including a Divination in hand. And an Eviscerate. Thallid Omnivore is a play here for Stephen Pierce, and this card is just a great threat to have on the battlefield. Threatening to get bigger all the time. Divination here for Kuva.
Who I think has to discard since he was on the draw.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the game that Stephen wants to play here. Vikram has a very slow start, kind of just needs to set up his mana base, set up his cards. And so if Pierce can get, a large offensive going in the early game, he can kind of get there before Kuva can find his removal, his fixing, or his more powerful creatures.
Sapperling Migration here will have a couple of tokens added to the battlefield. And food, potentially, for that Thallid.
Yeah, we might just see a removal spell here on the Omnivore if that's what Vikram has.
Eviscerate. Not sure exactly how you eviscerate a plant, but we'll just assume it happens. Stephen Pierce able to still get in with those Sapperlings here. And there's another one.
Sure.
Thallid Omnivore number 2 for Stephen Pierce. Fiery Intervention from Vikram Kuva, who has just been busy developing his lands, drawing a few cards, and answering the threats from Stephen Pierce.
But this is what we were talking about. As long as Pierce can just keep on developing out threats and Kuva just using, kind of slow removal to take care of these threats, Pierce is going to have the upper edge. But it looks like he's running out of gas now.
Yeah, I think he is. There's
And
Cold Water Snapper.
Okay, we were talking about that card.
Yeah.
Because it has hexproof, it's just going to entirely stop Pierce's offensive. He needs to find lands badly.
Well, he's got at least one.
A flyer would be good, if that indeed was a Windgrace Acolyte.
Yep, sure was.
Windgrace also potent with Muldrotha.
Absolutely.
Ooh, milling artifact,
Nice.
creature, and land, but that land was one that he wanted real bad.
And here's Karn. Hits the table once again for Vikram Kuva.
Yep. And so again, this is the point where Stephen's gonna need to find a way to push some real damage in, because I believe Vikram has a Vicious Offering that he's probably just gonna fire off now on the Windgrace to fade a pump spell.
All right, back over to Stephen Pierce.
Okay, this is a little bit risky because if Pierce draws something like a Gift of Growth, he could really blow out Vikram's use of Vicious Offering here.
Grow from the Ashes currently exiled with a silver counter on it from Karn. In comes a team for Stephen Pierce, all at Karn. Turtle will jump in front of the Llanowar Elves, and here's Pierce the Sky to deal with that Acolyte.
That makes a lot more sense then. He had Pierce the Sky in addition to the Vicious Offering. Much safer play. Nothing really can blow you out there in black and green, as, well, he would need to pump it 6 toughness.
Ooh, a Soul Salvage here from Stephen Pierce.
Okay. Yeah, he's making a little headway on the Karn, but...
Down to 3 loyalty, gets back a Thalid Omnivore and a Llanowar Elves.
Yeah, but we're just going to probably see Karn uptick here again, depending on if he found another removal spell. I mean, we know he has the Vicious Offering, of course, but just pumping... Oh, and to gain 10. Oof. Why not?
Go back to 21. All my work, says Stephen Pierce. And there's a Tempest Djinn.
Just a slight missequence there. I think Vikram should have, if he was going to plus anyways, right? See if he was going to draw something more relevant, but not a huge deal. He's pulling way far ahead again. So what can Stephen Pierce cobble together here? It looks like he returned an Omnivore as well, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So
and there's an island.
That's something that can help push through versus the turtle, as the Omnivore can get larger than the turtle. I mean, Muldrotha as a 6/6 here is pretty good versus the turtle as well.
All right, there's Muldrotha.
All right. Yeah, we might have a game here if Vikram can't find a removal spell very quickly for just the card advantage engine that is Muldrotha.
I see a Blood Tallow Candle in hand and a Vicious Offering.
Oh, that's going to be enough. He has enough mana to not only give -5/-5, but also -2/-2 in addition.
Oh, I thought the window was slightly open for Stephen Pierce.
Pierce just used that Soul Salvage as well, so it's not highly likely that he's running any more graveyard recursion effects. Maybe something like the Eldest Reborn, but even that would be very slow.
Ancient Animus and Syncopate here. Animus going to go be exiled under Karn.
That was going to be a really good next turn from Pierce. He'd be able to get multiple permanent types with the Muldrotha, but unfortunately not anymore.
Man, from these 2 games, Kuva's deck kind of looks unstoppable.
Yeah, as long as he's playing against a slower deck, which Pierce's definitely is.
Sure.
He has enough time to find his relevant removal / bigger threats / stabilization like the Krosan Druid to gain 10.
All right, well, Pierce here still attempting to tick down that Karn. Gets 2 through. One of the Saprolings falls to a block from the Krosan Druid, and here is Grun the Lonely King. Not kicked. So less lonely than a few other times we've seen him today. Ancient Animus will go back to Kuva's hand.
Oh, no. And then Thorn Elemental plus a fight is going to deal with the Lonely King there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go.
Kuva just putting on a clinic right now. Pierce did stumble on lands for those first early turns, which is really when he needed to capitalize, but unfortunately it just didn't pan out that way.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too, how Kuva chose to build his deck, mostly around green and blue, but with the red and black splash, no fear there.
Yeah, it looks like his pool is one of those pools that you just need to play your most powerful cards.
Sure.
No matter what. Now, he does have 2 Skittering Surveyors. He does have the Hinterland Harbor. He does have 2 Grow from the Ashes for fixing. But
all right.
There's a very real downside to playing this many colors, but...
That is not on display here currently.
Given enough time, yes.
All right, Thorn Elemental swinging in here. Threatening to do 7. No blocks here from Pierce because why?
I mean, he has the Omnivore.
I mean, he could Omnivore it, I suppose. There's so much mana available from Kuva.
But trading here is not a winning line, though there aren't many other winning lines for Pierce here anyways.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one. I just can't.
I mean, there were a few turns in the early to mid portion of the game where he had a chance to stabilize, maybe find a land to get an Omnivore in a little bit sooner. But as soon as the turtle came down and then Karn follow up with some removal spells, it was going to be an uphill battle. The Muldrotha gave him another shot, but that was quickly dispatched of. In fact, the next turn he didn't even get any value out of it. So back and forth there. Pierce definitely had some opportunity, but Kuva just had all the answers.
Yeah, I think the Muldrotha falling to that double set of removal from Kuva was really the kind of maybe the point of no return here. But Pierce still fighting the good fight, not conceding. Academy Journey Mage here is going to bounce that Thorn Elemental back to Kuva's hand.
I like the Tempest Djinn. 2-3, or 2-4 rather, right now. 2 islands, 1 harbor.
Yeah. Skittering Surveyor, the draw there for Kuva. Why not? Let's go find another land.
Yeah, I'll probably get another island here, pump up his Djinn.
Yep.
Then use Karn. Uptick, see 2 new cards. See what Pierce wants to give him.
There goes Karn. We've got Cloud Reader Sphinx and an Academy Drake.
A big flyer or a bigger flyer?
Wow. Do you want a flyer that scries you 2 or one with a little bit more power? All right, well, that Djinn's going to come in.
Yeah, now it's for 3 damage, of course, since he just fetched up that island. And honestly, if you're in Vikram's position, you could just sit back on the Syncopate. Now, you could obviously also play the Thorn Elemental that was just bounced as a killer next turn, but this is still lethal in the air that Vikram is presenting while holding up Syncopate for, it looks like, 2.
All right, we're going to scry 2 off of this Cloud Reader Sphinx. Pass back over to Pierce.
Pierce does have 2 extra life kind of just sitting on the battlefield. He can sacrifice the Sapling to the Omnivore.
That's true.
But really, this is not enough.
Mammoth Spider joining the team here for Pierce.
Reminder, this is a good heads-up play here.
Syncopate.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's just making sure that Pierce is tapped out of mana except for the Llanowar Elf on a following turn where we might see some kind of alpha attack. I don't think it was necessary, but a little bit precautionary, sure.
After this, we will have more Magic from our feature match area in extra turns with Rich Hagen and his very special co-host, who I know many of you are familiar with, and Rich's turbo speed calling of the matches. So stick around for that.
Yeah, not thrilled with the Syncopate there from Vikram, but it's not going to matter at this point.
Yeah, this is just obscene. No watching this, kids. Brutal. Broken Bond. Okay, sure.
Yeah, he gets the land value, too,
yeah,
with the
land value.
Bond. All right, good stuff.
Don't forget to play your land, and there's the handshake. Both players in high spirits, as they should be, coming back tomorrow to play some draft, both with extremely good records.
Yes.
Vikram Kuva, undefeated at 9-0. Stephen Pierce will fall to 8-1, still a stellar record coming back to draft. Pretty exciting stuff, and we'll hear from Vikram himself in just a few minutes, but that was a pretty cool game, Kenji, and kind of a neat look at a build that's just like, you know what? I'm not exactly two colors here.
Yep.
What can I do? Play all of my best stuff and make it work.
And work it did. You know, he had enough fixing, he had enough powerful removal spells and late game finishers that if he was playing against slower decks, and maybe he was playing against slower decks all day, he could make it work. Of course, this sealed format is a little bit slower than one that we're used to, and
yes.
I think Vikram was choosing to draw. Is that right? Each time?
Yes, he was.
So he knew his game plan, and he played it very well, and there he is.
And you mentioned, maybe he played against slower decks all day. I don't know if we really saw a fast deck other than maybe Craig Wesco's deck,
which did
not get the job done.
Didn't run well. No.
He's playing a red-white Champion of the Flame auras and equipment. I really liked that, but didn't really get the job done, unfortunately. Well, let's head down to our feature match area. Vikram Kuva is with us. Vikram, congratulations, going undefeated into Day 2. How do you feel?
I feel great. I love this format. I am the greediest player on my team. This format is slow enough that it allows you to play whatever colors you want if the fixing allows for it. I had 2 ram spells and 2 of the Borderland Ranger,
the Skittering Surveyors.
Yeah.
We were taking a look at your deck list, and you were like, it looks like he was just going for as much removal and as many finishers as he could and ways to get there. And you know, as long as it works, you were choosing to draw all day. Is that correct?
There was one match where I didn't, but I feel like the format is slow enough that the extra card is way better than going first. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I was definitely taking the draw 9 times out of 10.
I want to know how you kind of developed this pool when you sat down. How did you feel this morning when you opened it? Were you saying, I did it, I opened a Karn, I've got a Thorn Elemental, I'm just going to play big creatures and I'm going to play 4 colors and get in there? How did it all come together?
Well, the Karn was definitely there. It was the first thing that I saw because the person who checked my pool was the first, he showed me it, though. The biggest thing about my pool was the 4 mana fixers.
Sure.
We had been practicing sealed pools. I kind of joked with my testing team about playing 4 to 5 colors if I had enough fixers. It ended up being that way, and I love it. This format's great.
Right. So were there any particular decks or matches that gave you the most trouble? Was there ones that you were really sweating?
Yeah. So I ended up barely dropping a game in the Swiss portion of this.
Okay.
Up until now.
Wow.
There was the one game I lost was to a black-white aggro deck. There are a couple of aggressive decks in the format, mostly favoring white.
Right.
Which usually go 2-drop, 3-drop, flyer, you're dead.
Blessed Light, sure, yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely dropped a game to that. And that's probably what keeps a lot of the decks that try to go 3 to 4 colors in check. Mm-hmm. I definitely played, at this point, I had 2 buys, so 6 slow decks, 6 slow green decks up until now. And I feel like with the number of mana sinks that I have in my deck, I have 3 to 4 kicked spells. I have Karn. I have so many spells that go over the top, even the slower decks. So I felt like I was better matched for the format in general. In Sealed, it's harder to come up with the aggro deck, just because of how the pool shapes out. So I was erring on the side of greedy to give me more powerful cards, and hoping that I didn't face the aggro decks. And that eventually, that's what happened.
Well, you'll be coming back to draft tomorrow. Really quick, is there an archetype that you're looking forward to drafting most? If you had your way and the cards came together?
If I had my way in draft, I've had the best performance with blue-white historic. If I can get an early Wrath Capuchin, and some other legends, playing a white-blue tempo deck has something that I'm looking for. I haven't had a lot of good runs with the slower decks like you usually do in Sealed, so I want to err on the side of slightly more aggressive to tempo.
Well, good luck to you tomorrow. Excellent run today. Undefeated heading into day 2. Vikram Kuva, congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much for talking with us. And that was what you mentioned too, Kenji. Looking forward to draft tomorrow. Blue-white, your favorite.
I don't get to draft tomorrow.
Well, I mean, we could.
If I was in the drafter's shoes of the day 2 and I had a RAF in my pack, I would probably pick it. I'm just saying.
All right, we'll be back with more Magic, including Rich Hagan and a very special co-host after this.
Hello everyone, welcome to Extra Turns, back in harness once again. It's me, your host, Rich Hagan, alongside my regular co-host for Extra Turns, MT Chair. And obviously, I hope you understand, we had Khan last week. He's a lot bigger than I am, So it made sense to kind of give you the bump for extra turns last time around. Anyway, I know a lot of you are very excited to see MT back in the booth. So what we do on extra turns, we just chill out. We have a little bit of fun together in chat. I'm looking at chat right now. Or the Invisible Man, says SkyJ666. You see? MT chair, I love this guy, Marcos2 says. So that's proof that I am reading chat as it happens. Now, we've got some business to attend to. The plan for extra turns goes something like this. First, I'm going to talk about GP Beijing. Then I'm going to talk about early 19th century classical music. And then we are going to show you some more bonus magic, more 8-0 matches. And we're going to run that at probably double the speed, or maybe triple the speed, or maybe quadruple the speed, because that's what we do on extra turns. So let's kick off with Beijing. GP Beijing, that's in China, apparently, according to my geography. And we had 4 perfect records, 4 9-0s overnight. Wu Konfai, Wang Haokang, Ken Yukihiro, who many of you will know from Japan, and Liu Tianyu were the 9-0s. Only one round behind, however, a stack of big names. Shota Yasuoka, ranked number 5 in the world. Ryoichi Tamada, of course, I know you're a big fan, MT. Takuma Murafuji, again of Japan. Tora Inoue of Japan. Kelvin Chu of Singapore is 8-1. Yam Wing Chun, famous, of course, for that amazing and heart-rending moment at the Pro Tour. He's doing very well once again, 8-1 overnight. Zhang Yiyang, Rei Sato is 8-1. Lu Chao from the home team, 8-1. They had over 900 players in Beijing, which is a fantastic turnout. China, really a moving force in the world of MTG, and to see over 900 players in Beijing, fantastic turnout, and well done, and congratulations to that local community and, of course, the Asia-Pacific region. Here we had just over 1,000 players, so 180 came into day 2 in Beijing. Here we had the cut after 8 rounds, and we are polishing off round 9 as we speak. At the end of this show, I'll bring you the final standings and we'll know who went 9-0. So that's the story of Beijing, but here we're turning our attention to the world of who gets to 9-0. And the match we're going to move into is Aaron Toby against Carlos Powell. Now, the story of Carlos Powell is a really lovely one. Former Costa Rican national champion, very much, around in the North American scene and the Latin America scene, and then had a very disappointing World Magic Cup a few years back, and kind of just, fell out of love with the game. Just other world priorities came to the forefront for him, and basically hasn't turned a card sideways in anger for about 3 years. Then enter Dominaria into the picture. Carlos Powell sees Dominaria, thinks, this is pretty nostalgic. This is pretty interesting, pretty sweet. Maybe I could play a bit of Magic again. But I'm still living where I'm living, and it's a long way from there to kind of anywhere to play in a GP. And then he realizes he has $500 in airline credit miles. Okay, so you can't really buy anything else with that. You just buy a seat on the plane. He bought a seat on the plane to Dallas. And he is 8-0 right now. We're going to see whether he can get to 9-0 in the company of MT Chair. Let's head down for our Time Warp feature match. It's Aaron Toby against Carlos Powell, and we're going to run this at double the speed. So we're underway, and it's going to be a night in New Benalia. Has there ever been a less exciting 3-1 for 2? I'm not really sure there has been, because this is not a great format for that, but Ace the Glider is going to add to the board for Carlos Powell. That's the 2-1 fly. That can't block. He's not going to mind about that. There's a Skittering Surveyor for Aaron Toby, and that is his splash, presumably eminently fulfilled, because he's got 2 forests and a plains, and now he's gone to get the mountain. So that's his 3 colour. But it's blue-white skies here as Avon Sentry comes down. Curve out, 2, 3, 4, Knight of New Benalia, Avon Sentry, Ace the Glider, the 2, the 4, the 3. Or if you prefer, Avon Sentry, Ace the Glider, and Knight of New Benalia, 4, 3, 2. But I prefer Knight of New Benalia, Ace the Glider, and Avon Sentry, 2, 3, 4. Opposite Skittering Surveyor. Aaron Toby is a long way behind in this one on 15 life, and after 3 turns has done almost nothing. Here's a Sergeant at Arms. There's no way that was ever going to get as far as 6 mana to kick out 2 extra soldiers through the air. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Aaron Toby down to 10. Here's another sentry. 3, 3, 2. That's 8 points of flying damage. Aaron Toby's passed the turn with 5 mana up. He's got a memorial there, but that's not going to do very much, I don't think. 5 mana. Well, that says Blessed Light, unsurprisingly there. Avon Sentry dies, but here's another 3 power fly. Cloud Reader Sphinx, Avon Sentry, Ace Glider still in play. Toby at 5. Surely this one's going to be done. It's going to be game 1 to Carlos Powell in almost no time at all. It certainly is. That would have been quick at regular speed. Let's go to game number 2. All right with you, MT Chair? I thought it would be. Here's Aaron Toby opening up this time with Mountain, which we thought was his splash, and a Forest. There is the Jar Jar Binks with links. Misa Unicorn. And there's Skittering Surveyor again on for Aaron Toby on turn 3. It's white, white, white. Is it time for Banalish Marshall? It is! You've had Marshall Sutcliffe all day. Now it's the Banalish Marshall. Making all the creatures bigger. That's what's going on. So, goal. I'll do goal for you in a minute. The accolade. You can't even say your name properly, cutie cats? Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm sorry, Jetto, about that. What can I do? I'll make it faster for you if you don't like double speed. Juggernaut, 5-3, and it comes at can't be blocked by walls. That became relevant in one of our feature matches earlier on. The Banalish Marshall has bitten the dust thanks to the Goblin Barrage. Here's go in search of the cavalry. He's called them, and they were available on this Saturday night, as it turns out, in Dallas. So a pair of 2-2, Skittering Surveyor, and there's going to be a double block for the Juggernaut, which had to attack, of course, and we're going to see a combat trick. Yes, we are. And that's a knight surviving, and indeed, the knight is all that's left. But now, here's the flying. You can see why Carlos Powell got to 8-0, because my word, there's a Sarah Angel. 4-4, that's going to die. Pierce the sky, 7 damage to that. That's more than enough to kill a 4-4 for 5. And now, I'm going to sing. All my creatures tap for mana, so I cast my spells with perfect ease. Ludwig van Beethoven wrote about this. It is the song of Fur Elise. That was the intersection of early 19th century classical music and Dominaria puns for you there. So Carlos Powell, he's got the Misa Unicorn back again. Jar Jar Binks with links. A 3-3 knight on the other side. Song of Fraley's is up to 2. So what happens then? MT, you want to... Blitz Batman says, give MT a chance to get a thought in. Well, that went well. So, on we go. Here's in Bolus's clutches. That's going to steal Evra, the halcyon witness. Arsenal fans rejoice. Evra's been stolen. Yeah, that's a weird one, unless you know soccer. So, on we go. Aaron Toby sitting there with his knight, and we're going to see more Animus excitement over there, and Evra's going to die. It's his own Evra, but at least it isn't in Bolus's clutches anymore, or Carlos Powell's clutches, because that's who Bolus really is in this context. His Blood Tallow Candle, there was Blood Tallow Candle. The board's virtually clear, except for Misa Unicorn. Jar Jar doing its thing. That's a Llanowar Elves. That's not super good at this time of day. 25 life for Carlos Powell, 11 for Aaron Toby. Now here's the Relic Runner, 2-1, could be made unblockable. Skittering Surveyor go and get a second plane, so I guess that opens up double there. Arsenal fans, do they even exist? Asks USMNT442. Yes, they do. Unicorn for the win is the description from Rodolfo25. And yes, the Axe one, I read chat while doing this. I can't say anything about that, Looper. That's a disgraceful slur. Moving on, Aaron Toby, he's on 9. Carlos Powell's on 27. And Aaron Toby's coming back into this one because that's an enormous Multani. Yes, it is. I once got rid of a Multani when the legend rule meant you couldn't have 2 of them. Oops. That was best part of 20 years ago. But now Multani is in play for Aaron Toby, and I don't think he's going to make that mistake. Carlos Powell down at 18. We know he's got lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of flyers. Air miles, talk about, he spent them to get here. He's got an Air Force all of his own here. He's still on 18 life. He's still got 4 cards in hand. Aaron Toby, not got a lot going on. There's a Quenda, Pride of Femref. I saw a 9-6 trampling, rampaging Cyclops with dub on and 4 Bear's Blade earlier today. Quenda came down. That made a 9-6 trample, attack for 18. Outrageous. Toby at 7, Powell at 20. And will Toby have to pay Powell? See what I did there? It's like advertising on the stream. Multani crashes in. Smash! Carlos Powell up at 10 now. Quenda and the Relic Runner, which hasn't done an awful lot, it must be said. And Carlos Powell still with plenty of land in play. I wish, Age of Uprising. I wish. The Gunners don't even have football in Europe next year. Hey, new coach though. Yeah, let's all talk about soccer while simultaneously watching Speeded Up Magic. There's 2 minutes left in the main round, by the way. MT, I need to take a breath. Okay, I'm done now. Thanks very much for that. So Aaron Toby is on 7. Carlos Powell is on 10. We're in game 2 of Time Walk. These players at 8-0 trying to join the team at 9-0. Coming up in a bit, Jeff Hong against Jack Dobbin, if there's time, before final standings. Aaron Toby sitting there with his Llanowar Elves, not very exciting. Multani, quite a bit more exciting. Quenda, Pride of Femref, and Relic Runner for Carlos Powell. He's going to add to the board. Can you imagine? This is only double the speed. We could go even faster. Maybe we will in a little bit. Meanwhile, here's Dub. Yes, we entered the dubstep, and it's Relic Runner getting a bit bigger. It's a 4-3 knight. Llanowar Elves goes chumpity chump, chump, chump. Into the bin it goes. Aaron Toby, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to resolve my memorial, I'm going to look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was a Knight of Grace there, I saw. And there's also a Mammoth Spider. It's 3-5 with reach. Get away from him, you filth. Was that the flavor text? No, that's Lord of the Rings. Thanks, Samwise Gamgee, for interrupting our broadcast here. Aaron Toby, 7. Carlos Powell. Let me just have a read of this again. Okay, is that what it does? No, Ewing, you want me to die. Speed it up to 3. Behave. So, on we go. Carlos Powell, he's down to 2. He's in trouble. He's got a Relic Runner that's been dubbed a Knight, but that is 1 game all. Let's go to game number 3. And Carlos Powell is at 8. No, Aaron Toby with a Forest. We open up with the Relic Runner for Carlos Powell. There's the memorial from Aaron Toby. And now it's a 2-2 Academy Drake. It's a Wind Drake by all but name. So, yeah, Skittering Surveyor. That's an interesting thought. Age of Uprising, I could easily cast another match too. Maybe we'll split screen and do 2 matches at once. I think that's a really good idea. Let's think about that for another show, Rashad. Moving on. Academy Drake comes in. Relic Runner comes in. And now here's Rafcapation, I think. Is that Rafcapation? Yeah, I think it is. I wonder what his occupation is. Wizard's Lightning takes care of Raf before I can barely identify it. It's gone. Light lightning, one might say. Flavor win. That's what we go. Drink some water. I haven't got any. I haven't. And I am double queuing on MTGO as we speak. No, that would be naughty and rude. There's Mammoth Spider, 3-5. That's a really good answer because it will knock out the Serra Angel at least. Oh, wait, here's Banalish Marshal. 3 planes means 5-5 Serra Angel. That outclasses the Mammoth Spider because it's got lots and lots of legs. It doesn't have lots and lots of wings, and that means the Mammoth Spider cannot efficiently block Carlos Powell's Serra Angel. There's still an Academy Drake. Blessed Light doesn't need to block Serra Angel. It needs to blast it out of the sky. The pink blade does the thing, and Serra Angel dies. Avon Sentry now for Carlos Powell. That's a 4-3, remember. Academy Drake, that's a 3-3, remember. Banalish Marshal, that is still just a Banalish Marshal. I say just, it's not really just, is it? It's a rare, and it's a pretty good one too. Aaron Toby, what do you got up next? Well, it's time to call the cavalry. Hello, have you got any knights available? It's Saturday night, and I'm ready for action. Yes, and we've got 2 knights coming down. There they are. They're 2-2. They're pretty vigilant. In fact, they're 100% vigilant as Pierce the Sky quickly gets rid of that Avon Sentry. Aaron Toby looks to be stabilising the board here at 7 life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. And here's Halcyon Witness. Last time that got stolen in Bolus's clutches. Right now, Carlos Powell doesn't have enough mana to do that. He only has 5. He needs 6 if that is what's going to happen. Can Toby stabilise here? Carlos Powell taking a look. Remember, Halcyon Witness has the chance to trade life totals. Also, remember, Carlos Powell could have a Befuddle in his deck. And if that's true, we could see the end of the game just in response to the activation of Everett. Frank Carson taught me that. He's a Hall of Famer. Quite good at Magic, it turns out. Avon Sentry. I dub you, Sir Avon Sentry. And now it's a 5-4 flyer. Once again, the 5 power flyers. And that Mammoth Spider is once again outclassed. Halcyon Witness attacks. Toby is at 1. Powell is at 20. Trying to go the distance with his $500 worth of air miles, bringing him to GP Dallas. Here's Grun, the Lonely King. I'm lonely. Is anyone going to fight me? I said, is anyone going to fight me? Asks Grun. And the answer is generally yes, a sapling. And here, to be fair, Carlos Powell doesn't actually have a ton of things that would want to get in the way of Grun, the Lonely King. Wouldn't want to play with Grun at all. So Carlos Powell is going to send in the Mammoth Spider, gets a block, because now Aaron Toby up to 2 we see here, and now 2 plays 16. Is Grun going to attack it? Grun and Ever attacks him. Grun, the Lonely King, has got a friend to attack with. Yeah, I can't actually. Yes. No, it's not just you, Jay Corral. We're just having a bit of fun at the end of the tournament. So as soon as we have final standings, I'll bring those to you. Multani comes down for Aaron Toby. He's at 6. Powell's at 7. Is Toby going to get all the way back and claim the victory and go to 9-0? That is the question. With 3 minutes past time in the main round, which hopefully means we're about 5 to 10 minutes away from final standings, and then I and my co-host MT Chair can get out of here because it's been a long old day, and tomorrow I can promise you not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, but 8 full drafts coming your way tomorrow, plus of course coverage of rounds 10 through 12, 13 through 15, and then the top 8 itself as we crown another limited champion here at Grand Prix Dallas Fort Worth. Aaron Toby draws for the turn. He's just 1 life point behind. He pauses to think. Who's allowed to do that on a Magic stream? Outrageous. And he's going to send the team. Here's Grun. Here's Ever, Halcyon Witness. Here's Multani. Here's the 2 Call the Cavalry Knights piling in. They are vigilant. Carlos Powell now with a lot to go. It's just like land. And that's game, set, and match to Aaron Toby. And he goes to 9-0. Do you enjoy that? Pretty good, wasn't it? I actually thought Powell had it. Fair. How many people do you think got the Beethoven thing? Whatever. All right, well, as you can see, I don't have final standings, which means it must be time for more Magic. So, why don't we step in to Jeff Hong against Jack Dobbin. Now, these two players, again, are at 8-0, and there was one more match at 8-0, which was Aaron Rubin against Christopher McMahon, leaving 4, potentially, perfect 9-0 records. There was one more 8-0, got pared down against the 7-1, so there could be up to 5 perfect records at the end of the day. We already know about 2 of them. Let's find out who the third one is. Will it be Jeff Hong, or will it be Jack Dobbin? Roll the video. So we're away, and Jeff Hong is going to open up with an island. It's against the swamp for Jack Dobbin. Reminder that both these players are at 8-0, and we're going to open up with a Knight of Grace for Jeff Hong here in Game 1. Jack Dobbin lays a plane, so black-white, maybe it's going to be legendary matters, maybe historic is a big deal in his deck, although those themes tend to play a bit more in day 2 when we'll see draft, and you'll get a real sense of those archetypes. So, moving on, here's Davenant Trapper for Jeff Hong, chance to be historic. Davenant Trapper on the other side. It's a mirror match, sort of. Jeff Hong will untap and get his 4th card here, and we see a swamp, so he's on 3 colours. He's got an Eviscerate, but first of all he is just going to send that back to hand, blink of an eye, and that draws him a card. So I'll see how many matches we've got left here in the round, because we want to get through this match now that we've started. It looks to me like there are 4 matches left in the tournament, at which point somebody will hand me the final standings for the day. So Davenant Trapper and the Knight of Grace are sitting there for Jeff Hong. He's already got Jack Dobbin down to 13, and Dobbin is going to come up. It is Saga time from Jack Dobbin there. He's at 13. Jeff Hong is going to pile in back the other way, and it has got Jack Dobbin on the ropes, I would say. So let's see what Dobbin can do here. He's tapped out, of course, as that Phyrexian Scriptures puts a counter on. Step 2, destroy all non-artifact creatures. That could be quite good, could it not, boys and girls? I think it could. MTJ, you're nodding. Okay, fair. So Jeff Hong attacks in again. Dobbin is down to 7, but Hong is going to pass. And there is number 2. And Phyrexian Scriptures mythically says, all non-artifact creatures, bye-bye. Next turn, it'll be all cards from all opponents' graveyards that bite the dust. Oh, is this normal speed? Oh, that seems shameful. Double speed, if you would, Rashad. So we'll see how this goes. They are 9 rounds today, hefty tenders, as we see the Thalid come down for Jack Dobbin, who is on 7. Jeff Hong, 5 cards still in hand. Some historic action going on there. There's Journey Mage as well for more bounce, more tempo from Jeff Hong. Talking of tempo, we're going a bit faster now. So, hefty tenders. They play 8 rounds on day 1, then they cut to be allowed into day 2, but then they play the 9th round here. So that's what's happening. So Jeff Hong, I tell you what, Jeddo, I understand that you would prefer it to just be normal speed, but we do that all day, and this is something a little bit different. If you want to get final standings, you can get that in a while. So Jeff Hong against Jack Dobbin continues to be our final Time Warp match of the day, and here's the Journey Mage sending it back to hand. More tempo, 17 plays 7. Dobbin now trying to work out, he's still got plenty of mana, he's up to 6. So realistically, he's not being super crimped on mana, but he is being crimped. Will he get to play more than one spell in a turn? It's Lingering Phantom, I think. 5/4 for 6 mana. So there it is, Phantom. I just accidentally put a little S in there. Okay, so Jeff Hong is going to have his Skittering Surveyor. Will there be a 4th colour? Presumably not. You don't get to 8-0 with 4 colours, I don't think, in this format, do you, MT? No, thought not. So Jeff Hong, Skittering Surveyor, and the Journey Mage for blue. Here's Misa Unicorn, Jar Jar Binks with links once again against the Lingering Phantom for Jack Dobbin. Still 0-0 in this one. Let's see who can pull it out. Here's Davenant Trapper, and now the Pegasus Courser, so things can fly, but really Jack is on defense roundabout now. There's Divination there in hand for Jeff Hong, and it looks like that's going to be resolved to draw 2 extra cards. It was an island and a spell. Is that Tetsuko Omizawa? I think that might be. Yeah, Yeah, we'll see. Potentially. 1, 2. Yep, it is. There we go. So all the little creatures, either power or toughness, become unblockable. That includes Skittering Surveyor. So that is going to go like that. Thought Not is not in this set, says Storm. Okay. Yeah. So, Jeff. Settle the score. Bye-bye to the legendary Umezawa. He of the Jitte. Another Skittering Surveyor comes down. And this is really, Jeff Hong is really thinning out his library, because not only has he had the 2 Skittering Horrors, he's had the Divination. He's really starting to grind through. Didn't look like this was going to be a particularly grindy match, but that, there's no forests on either side of the table, which is where you really think that's going to happen. But that's what's going to... Oh, it's a joke. You said Thought Not. Get it? Is MT Chair casting, says Don Bolshevik. Are you? There's your answer, Don. So it's in Bolas clutches for Serra Angel. Steal your big, enormous flyer, Serra Angel. Absolutely not where Jack Dobbin wants it to be. Oh, look at that! He's going to invoke the Divine and say, go away in Bolas's clutches. I want Serra Angel to be in my clutches. And once again, Serra Angel is back where she belongs, on Jack Dobbin's side of the board. And now, is the tide turning? Is Jack Dobbin going to be able to get this to 1-0 here in the match to decide who goes to bed super happy at 9-0 and who goes, well, I had a great day, but 8-1. I wish I could have got that last round back. Jeff Hong says, it's time to eviscerate Serra Angel. I wouldn't have done that if I'd had it with the Imbolus's clutches, but as it is, I get it back. You can put Serra Angel in the bin, Jack Dobbin. So Jeff Hong at 11 plays 10. And now here is more. It's Gideon's Reproach for the Mesa Unicorn. Really? Okay, fair enough. Davenant Trapper comes in, and we've got the Journey Mage and the Skittering Surveyor against Pegasus Corsa, Lingering Phantom, and Davenant Trapper on the Jack Dobbin side of the board. He's 6-11 behind. 3 cards in hand for Jeff Hong. 4 cards still in hand for Jack Dobbin. And the way this game has played out, neither player has really got to a point where they're just running out of cards. They're both still playing with proper options here, as Jack piles in, and he's going to bring the Thallid down. Don't like fruit, don't like vegetables, don't like Thallid either. Jeff Hong down to 2 to 6 behind. We're 11 minutes past time on the round. It's got to be time shortly for final standings, and we can all get out of here for the night before we start our draft coverage in the morning. It's going to be another Gideon's Reproach to take care of another creature on Jeff Hong's side of the board. He is in desperate trouble here. Surely he is all but done. Let's see. He's got 3 cards in hand. We can see that at least 2 of them are land. Is that 3 of them land? Looks like it might be. And so here's Jack Dobbin going to finish things off. There's Weatherlight, Skittering Surveyor. Jack Dobbin leads 1-0. All right, so Jeff Hong on 20, Jack Dobbin on 20. Jeff is going to open up with double planes. Does that mean he's going to have a third and Banalish Marshal? He's going to have a third, but then he's going to have Skittering Surveyor. So a nice little bit of manipulation to go and get land colour number 2. He's got an island there. Davenant Trapper comes down for Jack Dobbin. 3-2 chance to tap things down when he casts Historic. What is MT Chair's favourite format in MTG? Asks Vincent Keys. Perfectly reasonable answer. Good. So Jeff Hong on 17 now. Here's Call the Cavalry. Hong's got cavalry. Jack Dobbin also has cavalry, and he called theirs first. So 2 Vigilant Knights come down. Here's Serra Angel. It really is a mirror match, this. Serra Angel has been on both sides. Indeed, Jack Dobbin's Serra Angel has been on both sides. Jeff Hong is going to have his Serra Angel dealt with by Blessed Light, which is exactly what Jeff Hong did to Jack Dobbin's Serra Angel in Game 1. There's an Eviscerate there that Jeff Hong can't cast at the moment. He is just blue-white. He's not full on Esper right now, and he's down at 10, and he is currently under the gun. He's made an Aven Sentry. That's a 3-2 flyer, of course. Skittering Surveyor, the 1-2 that fetched out that island earlier on. He's got plenty more mana. What he doesn't have is access to that Eviscerate. Jack Dobbin, meanwhile, sitting there with 4 cards in hand, up to 5 mana, reasonable board state. I think you'd probably feel pretty happy if you were Jack Dobbin right now. You're 1-0 up, going for 9-0. You're 17-10 ahead in this one. And now Aven Sentry. Here's in Bolas's clutches. Going to steal a Davenant Trapper. I'm not sure that's happened terribly often in the tournament, but we'll see how things go. Incidentally, Jack Dobbin says, I was main deck disenchanting Bolas's clutches all day. That was a quote during the match from our friend Brian David Marshall. So, Moving on, here's the Eviscerate because Swamp has duly occurred for Jeff Hong. He's got his Skittering Surveyor and his Avon Sentry. The Avon Sentry is currently dominating the battlefield. On we go. Eviscerate is going to take out the Avon Sentry, which means that 2 Vigilant Knights are going to come in. Is it going to be chump block time, or is Jeff Hong going to fall even further behind? Dobbin at 18, Jeff Hong on 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's activation time. Down comes more historic action for Jeff Hong, but he is down to just 2 life. This is not looking good for him. Here's Jack Dobbin. He makes a Serra Angel. It's syncopated. Go away. Serra Angel, that could save Jeff Hong. Just possibly. Oh my word. That was a tight one. And I think it's Shalai. Is that right? Is that what's come down? Shalai, Voice of Plenty, the 3-4 with no green activation for Jeff Hong. He's just using Shalai as a 3-4 fly. Perfectly reasonable. It's like a Cloud Reader Sphinx, but not a very good one. Fair enough. So Jack Dobbin, 16. Jeff Hong, 2. It's going to reset with Dark Bargain. There's Eviscerate. In they come. Chump block. Jeff Hong goes down, and Jack Dobbin wins the match by 2-0. MT, how was that for you? Good stuff. All right. So, that's the end of our live coverage for the day. Now, if I just take a little look here, I can tell you that behind me somewhere is table 65. And table 65 is all that stands between us and the final standings for day 1. I'm sure you're almost as eager to see them as I am. So meanwhile, since we've got a few minutes, why don't we have a little chat in chat? So I'm going to interact with the chat room. And my first question for you is, if, just assuming that all the packs are all fairly even, what archetype would you like, ideally, to be in if you were drafting tomorrow morning in Pod 1? Go into chat. What archetype would you like to be in draft tomorrow morning? We'll just have a quick chat while we wait for the final standings coming in. So, sitting on there, Licking 52 Bears, interesting, says Saprolings. Sultai Value, says Tiny Angry Demon. There's White Red Goblins, says Storm. Dinosaurs, more people saying Saprolings. Mono Red. Don Bolshevik says Blue Black Historic. I like that deck quite a bit. Blue Red Historic. Yes. Now, multiple people are saying not just Saprolings, but specifically Slimefoot. And I think Slimefoot's been one of the best cards of today. It was interesting talking with Kenji Egashira earlier on, and we were asking, what are the grind breakers, if you like, because there were plenty of grindy mirrors going on. And he actually said, well, actually, you just outgrind them with Slimefoot. Slimefoot is just unbeatable, ultimately, because you get to 8 mana, you're churning out 2 a time. We saw a match with Fungal Plots earlier on that featured that. So, Esper Control, interesting. So, okay, I'm going to go sort of slightly wider now. If you have the choice in broad terms, which do you think is better? A 2-color draft deck or a 3-color draft deck? So just put in 2 or 3. 2-color draft deck, 3-color draft deck. Which do you prefer? Mono Black Yargle, says Swifty Chaos, kicking us off. So then, what do you reckon? 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Someone's saying 5. I don't think you're being serious. Could be wrong. Siege Gang Commander is backbreaking when you have... Yes, that's true. This is surprisingly split. I thought this was a pretty easy answer. I assumed that nearly all of you would say, yeah, 2 colours, that's where we want to be. But it sounds like a lot of you really like 3. The fixing... Now, Ben FTW makes the very accurate point that fixing is not great. It isn't. Fixing isn't great. Even I understand. I'm a big fan of Navigator's Compass, as many of you regular viewers will know. I understand that fixing isn't great. So I'm surprised that many of you are saying yes. Spencer the Omniscient, who knows everything, says 3, as long as you're only splashing for removal, a mythic, Tachiova, or Slimefoot. Now, Tachiova, Benthic Druid, is absolutely one of the cards, again, talking with Kenji, MT, who was saying that is absolutely, of course, a board breaker. But we also saw, worth bearing in mind, that Tachiova is not a May ability. So there comes a point in the grind where you're trying to outgrind them with the life gain, the 1-point life gain, and more importantly, the draw card from Tachiova. If you keep playing land, you have to keep drawing the cards. And, first world problems for sure. But there have been scenarios just anecdotally out on the floor where we've seen people have to start thinking with, a dozen cards left in their library, am I just going to keep playing a land every turn and keep going up to, sure, 28, but meanwhile I'm this many cards ahead of my opponent, but I need time to actually win the game. So Tatyova is quite an interesting card in that regard. Wismin says Arvad is worth splashing for 2 IMO. LSV said friends don't let friends play Compass. Now, that is true, Swifty Chaos. And that actually makes me feel quite sad because Luis didn't try to stop me. That's quite upsetting, really, now I think about it. Oh, dear. Skittering Surveyor is the MVP for splashing, says Decky 1989. Fair enough. Yep, so that's perfectly reasonable. Jora Historic Controlled, but I think you're making that up, Vincent Keys. So drawing cards are never bad. Fair enough. Let me see. I'm just having a quick look here. Still, table 65 remains unanswered for us. So how fast is the draft format? Let's go for slow, medium, fast.